And welcome to another episode of Sons of Thunder. Sean, what's our topic today?
We're getting into the document dumps regarding the Epstein case.
Yeah, so this has been a very big thing as of lately. Um, the list that of the people that are rubbing shoulders with Epstein and kind of like how all this came about. So we're going to be talking about that today. Mostly the list, but we're actually going to go into other things on why this list is here too. So why don't you jump us in? Who is Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, he's a financier, whatever that means. How he got his money is, I've heard numerous theories, and I'm not entirely sure
I
why.
know that one, he got his money by like stocks and some stealing money for other people and stuff like that. I know that.
Well, that may be the case. I'm not sure. But the main thing that we're here to talk about, though, is this the document dumps and this list and all that. And I'm telling you, this whole case, this whole incident, it breaks the banks of weirdness and floods into bizarro land.
Yeah, yeah,
This whole story is just, I've never seen anything like it. It's,
yeah, and it dives into so many different arms too. It's not just um, celebrities or sexual or prostitution or money. It's government too. Like there's so many things with this.
yeah, well, yeah, there's everything from politicians to various entertainers and people in Hollywood and yeah, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this all springs from the fact that Jeffrey Epstein, if we could bring up a photo of that fellow Billy Joe Jim Bob, yeah, there he is. What a creepy looking dude. Um, Back in July of 2006, he was indicted on a single count of soliciting prostitution. Even though the report that got him indicted on it came from a family whose 14-year-old girl, their 14-year-old daughter, reported being molested by Epstein at his Palm Beach mansion.
Yeah,
Numerous other teenage girls also reported similar charges. Now, this is just the start of the weirdness of this story. Epstein was later arrested on only one count of soliciting prostitution, and one for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Those charges are ridiculous compared to the crimes that he committed. The Palm Beach police were fully ready to, they were prepared to move forward with a charge with numerous counts of unlawful sex with a minor. But under a plea agreement in 2008, Epstein pleads guilty to only to state charges, not federal charges. And he only pled guilty to one count of soliciting prostitution and one count of soliciting prostitution from someone under the age of 18.
yeah.
And get this, he is sentenced to only 18 months in jail for all those charges. There's some 30 victims, and he's 18 months. He was facing 20 years, 20 years, and he gets 18 months. And he only served 13 out of those 18 months.
Yeah, and the serving was bogus in itself, right? Because he got out 6 of the 7 days that he's supposed to be in there on work release, 12 hours a day. He's almost never in this supposedly prison, which what I heard is a glorified hotel, a little bit bad hotel.
This guy, all he did was go to that place in a private section of the jail and sleep there at night. He was free to go and do whatever he
And he
wanted
was
to.
free to walk around in there. His door was never locked.
Okay, yeah, okay, I didn't know that. Um, so it's absurd, and you again go back. He should have got something like 20 years, maybe longer, maybe life.
And something else to think about too is we're mostly talking about the Palm Beach, and we'll be going into his island. But he had a place in New Mexico. He had a place in Paris. He had a place in New York. So we're honing in on his Palm Beach stuff and his island eventually, but he could have been doing this in tons of states and in tons of countries, and never getting caught.
Well, he had mansions and residences all over the place.
It's ridiculous.
Um, But I mean, the question is why? Why does the government let him off so easily? But anyway, but it gets worse than that. Along with this plea deal, when he pleads to the 18 months, he got a non-prosecution agreement. That's an NPA, which stopped the all federal prosecution of him for all those crimes, uh, and the whole investigation involving some 30 teenage victims.
That's practically a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, yeah, it is not just for him.
Gold card.
The agreement applied to Epstein and to any potential co-conspirators, whether known or unknown.
What?
So-
Wait, whether known or unknown. So we might not even know what's going on. We're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's just saying not only are you free and clear of all these charges, Epstein, anybody who's involved with you and has taken part in it, they're all free too.
That's ridiculous.
Everybody gets off scot-free. And this deal was kept secret from the victims. They weren't even told, hey, we're going to make this deal with. I mean, normally a prosecutor's going to ask, and do you think this is acceptable? They didn't come to the victims and say, hey, we're going to give him this deal. I hope
that sounds like it's a deal then from higher up that was never given a option for other people to know about.
That's
to me.
That's the question.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Why did they do this? Look, who likes people, pedos and all that? Who likes, even criminals hate their guts. They go to jail, they end up getting killed.
Yeah.
So what possible reason could the federal government have for giving this guy this kind of a deal?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It belies explanation.
Yeah. That leads to assumptions and theories of what it could be behind doors and behind the money makers of the country, right?
There's so much
So much you could go
speculation about it, and we can get into it. But I mean, this guy we know is blackmailing people. We can be fairly certain.
Yeah.
I mean, in all his mansions where all these shenanigans are going on, he's got cameras filming everything all the time.
Yeah. You can't get close without him knowing you're there.
And you can't do anything in his house without him actually filming it. Now, why does he have all those cameras around? My suggestion is he's using that
for blackmail.
Blackmail.
Yeah, I'm doing something in your house and that you invited me or that you think is okay for me to do in your house. But if I cross you, then you have blackmail me.
Because he's got you. I mean, that would ruin people's lives, their careers, their marriages, may even send them to jail. So, you have to consider the possibility that these feds, he had something on them, or he knew something that they didn't want exposed. I don't know.
Or even before that, before when he got this weird, deal from the government or from wherever he got it from, they must know something about him that they want to allow him to walk free and do whatever he wants, right?
Well, it could be useful. I mean, I could see the alphabet agencies being very interested in the illegal extracurricular activities of various politicians.
Yeah, I mean, I told you he's got a place in Paris. So, he could be overseas doing things that we don't even know and the government's okay with it.
And weirdos from all over might be.
Yeah. He might have blackmail from other people from other countries.
Oh, yeah. But, okay. And then again, here the weirdness continues. In 2019, Epstein. Well, wait a second. I'm sorry. I skipped a part that I needed to go into. As I said previously, he had gotten a non-prosecution agreement, an NPR. And because of that, none of the victims were able to do anything to try to seek justice for what had been done to them. And but there was a way to circumvent that, and that would be a civil case, because that is not a criminal prosecution; it's a civil case. And a woman by the name of Virginia Jeffrey, one of Epstein's victims, filed a defamation suit against Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Maxwell, she, as I'm sure a lot of people know, was Epstein's right-hand
Woman, yeah.
girlfriend, that sort of thing.
She's the daughter of a newspaper mogul up in England area, Bridget, I think. And yeah, so she's accustomed to big, heavy money life.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's a socialite and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she helped procure these girls that he was using, and she even took part in the abuse as well. It's at least it's alleged. Now Maxwell said that this young woman, Virginia Giuffre, was lying when she accused them of abusing her. And so what happened was Giuffre got a lawyer and sued her for defamation for saying that she was lying about the abuse, which is the only way that she could get any kind of retribution for what had happened to her, any kind of justice at all. So this case went forward, and after it was over, settlements were made. For instance, Maxwell settled the case with her. Didn't she settled out, because she was guilty. That was what she had to do. And then the records that happened in the trial were sealed. And they were kept under wraps until January 3rd. And that's when the first documents leaks came. So all the stuff we hear about, all the names that we hear, and everything that has to do with all these documents, they're all from this case.
Okay.
That this young woman brought against Maxwell.
So so that's kind of like a little overview, very, very, very little overview on all the crap that went on with Jeff and his right-hand woman and all the crap that he's done. But now we're kind of moving up to nowadays and why it's so big now. Now we have this dump of this huge, what they're calling the Epstein list, right? And there's just a bunch of people on this list, right?
Yeah, there is, but there's some weirdness, other weirdness though, that I got to mention before we move on to talking about the list. And that is that eventually Epstein was arrested, and he was charged with these charges, going all the way back to 2008, because there'd been an investigation. The victim said that non-prosecution agreement was just totally bogus, which it utterly was. So the man's in custody, right? Epstein. In 2019, he's in custody. They find him dead in his cell, and it's declared a suicide by he supposedly hung himself. Okay, that's the official call on what happened here.
Yeah, which if you've read or heard anything about it, no one believes it's suicide.
That's the official position of it. Now, here we go with the weirdness again. A pathologist who observed the Epstein's autopsy, boy, can't I speak today, said he has never seen bone fractures from a suicide in a person's neck like that before. In other words, normally those bone fractures would happen not from the hanging yourself, but from somebody strangling you or choking you. In other words, he's saying that this is a murder, not a suicide. He or she, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and there was also reports that this could have possibly been the second time, right? Like there was an attempt beforehand.
There was, in a previous incident, Epstein was found on the floor of his cell with a strip of bed sheet around his neck. Now, he claimed that he had been attacked by a cellmate. And, he said that that's what happened. But the prison declared that he had
tried to commit suicide again.
Done it to himself, yeah.
Isn't suicide a very easy way out of all these other things?
Yeah, well, it's a way to make people disappear. But and the guards that were supposed to be monitoring his cell, they were supposed to be checking in on him every 30 minutes, right? They didn't check on him at all. They said that they fell asleep or something like that, which is just absurd. The prison also, there's supposed to be cameras monitoring the pod where Epstein was, where he's being held, and
they go black.
Yeah, the prison said that they malfunctioned, and their PR people or whatever said that it doesn't matter because the camera didn't point into Epstein's cell anyway, so you still wouldn't know what happened there.
Well, you would see who goes into it, right?
That's my question.
You would definitely see who's coming in and out
That
of
would
it.
answer since he was alone in that cell and the door is presumably shut all night and nobody's coming and going. If nobody walks down that hall, then you could logically assume that he killed himself. But since those cameras were magically malfunctioning, you can't know anymore.
I love how they put information out there to answer the question, and it's just more stupidity.
Yeah, it doesn't answer anything, but it does detract. Oh, we wouldn't have seen what happened in there. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We could presume that nobody went in there and murdered him if nobody went in there and murdered him.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just distraction.
So the guy's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
I'm sure there's some conspiracy theories out there that he's living with Elvis and Tupac right now, right? Right.
Actually, there is. Megyn Kelly hinted that the guy is still alive, which I'm sorry, I don't think it's true.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, hey.
I think, this is my opinion, and just so you guys know, I don't think we did this beforehand. Everything that we're saying in this episode about the list and the people that are connected to all of this stuff, we are trying to keep it as kosher as we can. We will bring our opinion out, but for the most part, with the names that we come out with on this list that came out, we're not going to put any blame unless blame was already put on them. But in my opinion, I'm glad he's dead. So,
well, yeah, disreputable. We can say that this guy is guilty of horrendous crimes without a doubt.
Yeah, without doubt.
Okay.
All right, so now we're on the list, right?
That's right.
The list that he's gone, but the people that were on this list, they're still around and kicking, and they're still in the public eye.
Good.
And
a couple of them are dead, but
a couple of them are dead. Another one that I'm so glad is gone. But we will. Let's start on this list. Let's start on some of the people that were on this list that were rubbing shoulders with Epstein.
All right. A big one is Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah,
Dershowitz.
Okay, there he is.
He's
right there.
A Harvard law professor, high-powered defense attorney. He had at various times defended people like O.J. Simpson, Mike Tyson, Julian Assange, Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein.
So that's why Epstein's wearing his Harvard, huh?
Yeah.
To kind of gloat, I guess, or help him out. Or
he was like
butter him up.
an academic hanger-on. He tried to pass himself off as an intellectual.
Yeah.
Dershowitz was Epstein's lawyer in the 2008 plea deal that got Epstein off so lightly.
Okay.
Yeah, he was his man. He was his lawyer.
Yeah, so no wonder he's on this list and rubbing shoulders with him, right?
That's right. They were very close friends. Dershowitz even says so. He said he even went so far. Dershowitz has published numerous books, that sort of thing, and he said that Epstein was a super smart guy, and he said Epstein was the only one he trusted to check out his rough drafts of his books before he published them.
Wow.
That shows that they had a pretty close relationship.
Yeah. Well, it shows a pretty close relationship, but it doesn't mean he shows character.
Right. Well,
he knows what character is.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, in the documents that came out from the civil case that Jeffrey initiated, it is alleged that the court documents that he was an eyewitness to the abuse of girls, which allegedly occurred in numerous locations, including Florida, New York, New Mexico, and St. John's Island.
Yeah,
he's mentioned
the island, right?
Yeah, that's the pedo island, as people call it, or Epstein's Island.
Epstein's Island, yeah.
Yeah, and he had been accused of having sex with her on several occasions.
Yeah, he owns that island. So when we call it Epstein's Island, it's not just because he lived there; it's because he owned it. Yeah, that's another how rich he was.
Yeah, and Dershowitz is mentioned some 137 times in the documents.
Jeez.
And has been accused of having sex with minors on several occasions.
I mean, I wouldn't want my name mingled in with this guy one bit. Not even talked in the same sentence as this guy, but to have my name 100 and something times on a list with him, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. You better be very, very, very careful about who your
Jeez.
friends are. Now, Dershowitz, though, of course he's a defense lawyer, but he does make a good defense of himself. He argues vehemently that he is innocent. One of the quotations of his is he said, "The woman who accused me has now stated categorically that she may have misidentified me, confused me with someone else, and if all the documents are revealed, they will prove categorically that she did misidentify me."
Categorically.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Hmm.
But then he goes on to say, "Of course I'm on that." He said, "Of course I'm on that list. I flew on his plane." He said,
Which, I guess, in his defense, if we're going to defend anything, I'm devil's advocate here, but yeah, I would say the same thing. Of course, you're on the list because you're his attorney. You're dealing with his ins and outs. You're friends with him, of course.
yeah, and he went on to say that thinking poorly of him just because he's on that list is guilt by association, because there is no proof, and he says there's no evidence that he had done anything wrong.
Yeah, other than the woman, but I guess we're not going to listen to her.
Yeah, there is certainly testimony that he did, and he said that, and this is what he said about Epstein. He said, "I had an innocent relationship with a man who I didn't know. Nobody suspected had done anything wrong."
Wait, what?
Yeah. See, here I got a problem, because how can he say that he didn't know that Epstein had done anything wrong? How can he say that? He defended him in the case,
Right. To get him out.
where
Right.
Epstein pled guilty to having sex with minors.
So that means that he truly believed, I guess, Epstein's lies. If he's being truthful.
That's what he's saying.
Lawyers aren't really truthful.
That's what he's
though.
saying. Yeah. I mean, look, well, I mean, when he's defending him, he knows the man's guilty. He knows he's guilty. He knows he pled to being guilty.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Well, this guy also defended O.J. Simpson. I bet you ask him today, he'll say that O.J. Simpson was innocent.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
if the glove
he
doesn't
knows he's
fit,
not
right?
innocent. I mean, he's going to claim that, but he knows O.J. isn't innocent.
That's lawyers lie to your face.
Yeah, he knows that this guy did what he did. He knows this, but so I have to question that. I mean, I believe everybody, of course, has a right to a defense, and the best one allowable that you can have. It's just he shouldn't talk about this because it doesn't seem reasonable that he didn't know. Maybe he's just saying that he didn't know till after that case. But
yeah, we're done devil advocating this guy.
All right. Another big name that we have on this list is Stephen Hawkins.
I can't stand this guy. I can't stand this guy.
What do you?
Well, mostly I hate him because he's against biblical science, and he's supposed to be some big name in science because in some big mind in science, but he really is just talking out of his wheelchair about things that he thinks he knows, but he has no proof on. He hates God. He actually said that nothing came from nothing, so that proves that nothing was there at the beginning. It's like, what?
Yeah,
I can't. He's just. He uses his intellect to say that's why things can't happen because I said it. He's dead too. So
there's some arrogance there, I suppose. Well, at any rate, in an email written in 2015. Okay, well, first off, it comes out in these the allegations come out that, I mean, I hate to talk about it. It's just embarrassing, but he supposedly was involved actually in basically an orgy with underage people.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't see how it happens. He's in a wheelchair, but I guess anything.
Well, at that age, he's younger, but the age that he would be dealing with it, he was kind of more crooked, so. Right?
Yeah, I think he was.
I mean, I could see it. I could see it because, like I said, he's a conceited idiot who doesn't care about people. He only cares about what he said. That was the type of person he was. I'm just sorry.
Yeah, but Okay, but I'm just wondering about the physical possibilities here. But apparently they're
Well,
there.
physical possibility.
And anyway, to cover this up, an email written in 2015, Epstein sent to Joe Frey, I think, an alleged trafficking victim, um, involving Hawkins and also former President Clinton. According to the filings that were released on Wednesday, Epstein told Maxwell that he could offer money to Joe Frey's friends to help prove that the allegations against Hawkins were false. And the quote was, "You can issue a reward to any of Virginia, Joe Frey's friends, acquaintances, family that come forward to help prove the allegations are false." Email reads. So, in other words,
Yeah.
Epstein was saying, "Pay you can pay your friends, you can pay your family, whoever, to say that the allegations against Stephen Hawking are false."
Yeah. So in other words,
So that's kind of damning.
write your own blank check and just get this done because he's a pal of
Yeah,
mine.
and pay your friends to lie.
Yeah, because my friends.
That's what it says in this email that
I
Epstein.
mean, this
wrote.
is just really power over power with money and power. You know, it really is.
Well, it's some wicked, deep, wicked stuff here, man. But I mean, and a lot of the evidence says Hawkins was pictured in several photographs during a visit to Epstein's island in 2006, before the financier was charged, and not long after in the same year. In photographs, Hawking can be seen at a barbecue in Little St. James, and in one that keeps coming up here,
Submarine.
taking a boat cruise and a submarine cruise off the coast of the island.
Which, as a scientist, I'm sure he enjoyed that. I would have enjoyed it.
It's just, yeah, it's not, that's not proof of anything.
No, it's not.
Except that the association is certainly there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All right.
Next guy.
Moving on, we got Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew.
Duke of York. And there he is.
Duke of
with
York.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah,
she's
that's
on
her
the
in the
right,
back,
the dark-haired gal. And then that one, that's Prince Andrew, and the young girl that he's with is Virginia, Joe Frey.
Yeah, the big whistleblower.
Yeah,
right?
she's the one who's brought
Which is good.
Originally
Great.
brought the lawsuit.
Yeah, I've heard stories that Andrew was on the island. Prince Andrew was on the island, and that he was openly about being okay with being on the island with young age women and all this type of stuff. So by people who have seen him personally on the island that work there or associated. So
Well, he's Duke of York. He's the younger brother of King Charles, and Jouffre claims that she had sex with Prince Andrew on 3 occasions: in London in 2001 when she was 17, where she said Epstein paid her $15,000 for the encounter, and later in New York and on Epstein's Island.
Man.
Flight logs show Andrew and Jouffre were in the same places where she had alleged their meetings took place. Andrew and Jouffre were also photographed together with his arms around her waist. That's the picture we just showed you, along with Ghislaine Maxwell in the background. And Prince Andrew's friends and supporters all say that photo was faked.
oh yeah, well
Yeah,
they have to lie to
It's a
protect,
bogus
yeah.
photo. Well, yeah, because it's a damning one. He's got his hands on this girl
Who's obviously underage.
who's obviously underage and that he says he has had nothing to do with, and boom, there it is. Now,
Yeah, look how fake that is, man. I can't.
Yeah,
stand
that picture's either true or it's not. It's either faked or it's pretty
it.
damning.
Yeah, it's a real picture.
In 2022, a judge attempts to dismiss the case, allowing the sexual abuse lawsuit to proceed, whereupon it was settled out of court. So, again, this sexual abuse, it's not a criminal case, but it's a civil suit. It gets dismissed out of court, and it doesn't get dismissed. It gets pled out of court, and Prince Andrew ends up giving her some kind of financial settlement.
To shut her up.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's a personal settlement, because the money that she was awarded went to her charity for victims. Now, I don't know if that was for compensation or what exactly the
Or to
charity
make him
was.
look better.
Well, no, that's where he put it. I guess maybe that's
gotta
where
make him
it
look
could
better.
be where she wanted it. No, the fact that he's paying out money and is forced to makes him look guilty.
Well, no, I get that part, but that it's going to the foundation for the survivors of this type of stuff. That's like, trying to gloss it over.
Maybe
as I care
maybe
about
it's not
them or
quite
something.
So bad than just giving her a pocket full of cash. I don't know.
Whatever.
At any rate, the results of this have been that Buckingham Palace announced that he's no longer
Duke of York.
no, he's just suspended from his public duties. He's still the Duke of York.
Okay.
This decision was made with the consent of the Queen while she was still alive.
So I can break the law and still keep my job.
Oh no, he's suffered greatly since then because
Still keep my job.
Yeah, he suffered greatly because he's no longer in the Windsor Castle, but he's in a measly 30-room mansion 3 miles south.
Sean, that ain't no castle then.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Yeah,
look at the hardship he went through.
Yeah, the suffering of the super elite and rich is not exactly the same.
You leave a castle, then it's not a castle.
Right. Well, they could be suffering, though, because he's living there with his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. Which makes no sense.
Where are you getting that?
I
What you're saying that she's punishment?
I don't know, man. He's living there with her, which makes no sense. So perhaps that isn't fun. But
Maybe she's punished.
Yeah, it could be. But it's a 30-room mansion. I mean, it's not Windsor Castle, but
It's not the castle.
maybe they don't have to see each other. That may be the case.
Okay.
I don't know. And
Next guy?
This one's interesting here. Naomi Campbell. She's the British supermodel.
Next woman.
model.
Naomi
She
Campbell.
admits to knowing and having partied with or around Epstein. There she is with Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, movie director, right? Or
Producer. Crap like that.
yeah.
Now,
He's a sleazeball too.
yeah, I've not found any direct accusations about her here. It just seems like she ends up in bad places. But let's hear what she,
Well, I wonder why. She's
Here-
a supermodel. They
well,
end up at bad places all the time, right?
I don't know. I've never been a supermodel.
You've never been a supermodel?
No,
I thought we started this right after your career was done.
no, that didn't happen. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you wear sleeves then? No?
Oh, there we go. With
Yeah,
the
I gotta bring the
trifling-
sleeves in. I mean,
trifling
it's
nonsense once
truffling,
more.
truffles.
You're a one-tune wonder, man.
I am. You're the one that's wearing non-sleeves every day.
And you've got a comment on it. Okay.
Well, yeah.
What she said about this, her name coming up on the list is more relevant here. Speaking of Epstein, she said, what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard what he had done, it sickened me to my stomach just like everyone else, because I've had my fair share of sexual predators. And thank God I had people around me that protected me from this. Right now, I stand with the victims. That's what she said.
That's good to say. And I guess the way we started off the show, we can't say she did anything wrong. But what I have known about Epstein's parties, they're not like a regular fun party. They're like, evil parties.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe her, but we have no proof.
She hasn't made. I don't know that she's. I haven't heard anyone making any accusation except for the fact that she was there. But and all this may be true that she did nothing at all. But she has to have the most terrible judgment concerning which parties to attend.
Yeah, well, she might even admit to that.
Well, she clearly has terrible judgment because she also, along with Epstein parties that she went to, she also hung out with, as we showed there in the picture, Harvey Weinstein. Went to parties with this guy, and she went to parties of former Liberian President Charles Taylor. Now, it doesn't sound so bad. It's just a Liberian president, right? But this guy orchestrated the murder of thousands during his nation's civil war and was convicted of numerous crimes, including terrorism, rape, murder, and the use of child soldiers.
Wow.
So, I mean, this woman goes to every sleazebag's party that you could possibly think of.
So
if somebody started kicking puppies for a living and he had a party, she'd be there. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Is that a puppy kicking party?
Yeah,
That actually sounds cool, though. I mean, not the kicking
no, it doesn't
puppy part,
sound
but
cool.
the
Corey.
rhyme of puppy kicking party.
Okay, probably slang for something terrible.
I'm sure it is.
All right.
Next.
And here we're going to move on to one of the big ones here, Donald Trump and how he gets mentioned in all this.
Mr. Orange Hair himself, former president. Okay,
Donald.
Donald.
He is with Epstein at presumably some social gathering party.
And that is another victim. I saw, I've seen her. I forget her name, but yeah, that picture is popular. And there's sleazeball Jeffrey kind of giving his disgusting smile. So
yeah, well,
this isn't a good look for the former president, but also we don't have any facts that he did anything evil. Also, right? I mean, he was just on the list. It's on the list.
We do not have any such factual information. He did. It is a fact though that he flew on Epstein's perv aircraft 4 times. It's in 1993 and in 1994, 95, and in 97. But all this is long before Epstein pled guilty in that 2008 trial.
Yeah. Now, before all of the stuff leaked out and all of the guilty, and we kind of knew all that he was a sleazebag. Trump had said he's a good guy. So kind of just like Naomi, he could just be a bad judge of character.
Well, the fact is, though, actually, even before Epstein pled guilty, it's a fact that Trump kicked Epstein out of and banned him from his Mar-a-Lago club, cut ties with him entirely.
Oh, well, that's good.
So this happened way back in.
So maybe he found something else, right?
Yeah, I think what happened was Epstein actually tried to hit up on one of the underage girls of a daughter of one of his friends at the club or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he ditched him and he cut ties with him.
Well, that's
forever.
good. That's good.
And then shortly after that, Epstein gets busted.
Cut out at the right time then.
Yeah.
Nice.
But his cutting him out like this and all being before it was revealed publicly that Epstein was a child trafficker, basically. He did all this before, and he like I said, he got rid of Epstein. All of this seems exculpatory for Trump so far. And in fact, in the first batch of documents being dropped, the witnesses claimed that Trump was not involved. They specifically say that he was not.
Yeah.
Nor had he even witnessed any wrongdoing. And in fact, Virginia Jeffrey stated she had not seen Trump engaged in any nefarious activity and that Epstein had only name-dropped him.
Yeah. I've seen and read things where the victims have said Trump was never in the places that we regularly regularly went to be abused or whatever. He was never there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never saw him at these places.
Yeah, so that part of it all seems to vindicate Trump. However, in the second batch of documents, which were just dropped, an email from victim Sarah Ransom came out that claimed that she had a friend who was quote, one of many girls that had sexual relations with Donald Trump.
Okay.
And that the friend claimed to have had sex with Trump in Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Not on Pedo Island. He was never supposedly seen in Epstein's Island. So you have conflicting evidence here. The first batch and first bits of evidence all seem to say that Trump had nothing to do with anything. The second batch, however, you have a woman who says she talked to a woman who said that Trump had been having sexual relations with these girls.
So kind of like a third-hand information.
It's definitely hearsay,
but it's still something, right?
Yeah, we got to be fair here. That evidence is there. It just is, and I thought we needed to bring it up. That's the biggest evidence against Trump thus far.
Okay.
The more documents are coming out. I don't know who's going to be implicated in what in the future. None of us do. Now, let's move on to Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, you gotta love that photo.
Now, why do we have this picture of the former president.
That's an oil painting that Jeffrey Epstein has in his house
Wait, what?
in Manhattan.
He has this picture in his house.
Yeah, and his Manhattan mansion. It appears to be the Monica Lewinsky dress.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and they're in. Are obviously he or she or whatever that is in the Oval Office, right? So
It appears to be it. Yes.
this is why would Jeff? This makes me think that Jeff is trying to show how much power he has over presidents or this president.
Yeah, that's open to interpretation, Gordon. I mean, why is he doing this pose here? It's like, I got you. That's what it looks like he's saying. I got you. Now, why is he saying that? I'm not sure.
Yeah. And I mean, why wouldn't you just have a picture because of his ego is so big? Why wouldn't you just have a picture of you with the president? But you got to do this to deface him in your place. Like, why don't I have a picture of someone I'm going to deface? Wouldn't I want to publicly do that?
Maybe it was Epstein's message to Clinton that he's got him.
Yeah,
he's got him.
Yeah. That's
speculation on my part. I don't know.
I mean, the president, the former president Clinton, has had tons of dealings with women. We know this, right?
Yeah, well, it according to
he's definitely on this list.
Oh yeah, according to the documents, Epstein and Clinton had a very close relationship. And one of the victims, Johanna Schoberg, allegedly quoted Epstein. This came out before; it was pretty big. Allegedly quoting Epstein said, Epstein said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to young girls.
Oh, jeez.
That is what Epstein said. Again, that's really hearsay. She's saying what somebody else. Epstein said.
It is, but. Monica Lewinsky wasn't an older woman when she was serving in the office.
That's right.
So she was already kind of fairly young. She was in her 20s, early 20s.
She was a young White House intern.
She was an intern, which even shows even more. So
we don't need these documents to realize that former President Clinton likes them young.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know that. It's established fact. And he's certainly not adverse to risky sexual practices. I mean, from the Oval Office, I'm not going into all that, but most people know what happened there with the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Further, this victim alleges, Sarah Ransom, my friend had sexual intercourse with Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson. Sex tapes were in fact filmed on each separate occasion.
Man.
I even managed to persuade her, that is her friend, unnamed, to send me some of the video footage which she kept, all implicating all three men, including Clinton and Prince Andrew. I have picked up the footage. I have backed up the footage on several USB sticks and have secretly sent them to various locations throughout Europe.
Man, that's pretty damning.
Yeah, I know, but again, it's hearsay. She has not.
But like you said, it's also not out of the form of imagination. Like we it's not hard for us to think that Bill did this. I mean, Clinton was a sleazeball. I mean, we could just say that. I mean, he was. And this type of stuff, though we didn't know about this one or say another encounter, it's not hard to believe it one bit.
I don't know. I don't know whether these guys committed these crimes or not. And I also, the story sounds kind of hokey a little bit, and there's reason to think that it is. This is the same woman who said her friend had told her of having sex with Trump. So, I mean, and she's saying, okay, my friend gave me these tapes, which she hasn't produced.
Right.
So this is secondhand info at best as far as it concerns Trump. The difference with the claims here is, though, she's also claiming some firsthand knowledge because she's claiming to have seen videos of Clinton having sex with minors, along with Prince Andrew and some other guy too. And she's claiming to have been in possession of these tapes. So that the evidence here is allegedly harder and much stronger for Clinton
than third-hand Trump thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In these U.S. in possession of these tapes in the form of USB sticks that she supposedly made and allegedly sent all over the place. She said that she did this in order to provide. She made all those tapes of recordings of the tapes, putting them on the USB sticks. She said she did that in order to scare Epstein and Maxwell and stop them from coming to get her or cause her harm. She said that because she had these all over the place, and if anything happened to her, that they would come out.
So she's definitely fearing for her life and stuff like that, and wants blackmail on her side.
This is why she said she made those recordings and why she had them. However, here's where it gets hokey again. In a 2019 New Yorker article, author Connie Brooke said, Ransom, that's the gal who supposedly made the tapes, told me that she had invented the tapes to draw attention to Epstein's behavior and to make him believe that she had, quote, evidence that would come out if he harmed me.
So in other words, if it did or did not happen, he's already known as a sleazeball. I can add more to it.
Yeah, and okay, so this author's basically saying that she admitted to me that she just made this to protect herself. But she made it up, but she didn't have the tapes. She made it to make Epstein fear that she had these tapes and they could be used against her. So this author concludes that it's all a story and there's nothing to it, and so do most other people. But here's my question. How would the threat of non-existent tapes of things that never happened be a threat that would protect her from Epstein? If none of this ever happened, and then Epstein knows it didn't happen, then how would her making up stories protect her from him?
So you're saying it did happen.
It could have happened.
Or at least Epstein knows that it did or could have happened, and that he doesn't know if she has tapes or not about it.
Yeah. If it was conceivable and believable that she had these tapes, then one must assume that it's certainly conceivable and believable that the tapes exist.
Yeah. Especially if Epstein would be scared about it or would be hindered to do anything against her about it.
Yeah, you would think that if these things never happened, if Clinton and Prince Andrew never had sex with minors, that her claiming to have tapes of those things would mean nothing.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
So how could she make them to protect herself? It makes no sense. I'm not saying that's proof positive that these things happened. I'm not. It's a question, though, that should be asked. It's worth asking.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of even like when you say, did you do this? And you say, I plead the fifth. The more times that they ask you, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, you're saying, I don't want to incriminate myself by saying I plead the fifth. But that's saying that you don't want to incriminate yourself and saying it yourself. It's kind of like, I'm not going to say that what you're saying is true. I'm just not going to talk about it. Well, you're kind of incriminating yourself when you say that.
Well, yeah. And finally, on the Bill Clinton matter, though, according to this is some more weirdness here, man. According to this same woman, Ransom, her friend, I guess it's the same friend. The friend's always unnamed, was approached by Hillary Clinton later. No, it was not actually by Hillary Clinton. She was approached by, quote, special agents forces men sent directly by Hillary Clinton herself in order to protect her presidential campaign. Because Hillary was running for president in 2016. So she was intimidated, her friend, from coming forward and settling out because these agents were sent by Hillary to scare her.
Well, that to me proves it even more. If Hillary thinks that this woman's telling the truth, then Hillary knows more than we do, and Hillary's like, yeah, my husband probably did this.
But that's just an accusation. Although, it's weird. During when Clinton was first running for office, they had periodically what were called bimbo eruptions, where women would come forward talking about how President Clinton had sex with me, or he had sexually harassed me or propositioned me, and they sent out basically a squad that would go out and either intimidate these witnesses or they'd pay them up. These are just facts. This is not slanted partisanship here.
Yeah,
They
I remember
did that.
that.
So they had an operation in place back then. Now, was this also going on in 2016 with Hillary Clinton's campaign? I don't know. Did she use agents of the government in order to do this? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the lines with his her bimbo eruption squad, but I don't know if it's quite the same thing, and I don't know how much weight I'd give it. If she wouldn't have said special agents, forces men, which is a peculiar thing to say and makes no sense. I think she
I
meant
think it makes no sense.
she's putting together special forces and agents. Whatever.
Everybody gets what she's saying.
Maybe she doesn't. Maybe it still could be true, but I'm just throwing it up there. And that's what I got.
To kind of wrap out the rest of this show and the list itself, there were other people that, like we said beforehand, that aren't really that were named on this big list of people that rubbed the elbows with Jeff, but we have no accusations against them. We don't really know if they did or did not do anything. They were just on the list, right? These are people that they're big names, but they're people that we don't know what they did. Unlike the people that you mentioned.
Some
right?
of them may have done nothing at all. They
Right.
could just be named by Epstein.
Right.
He liked to drop names
He did.
make himself out to be a bigger man than he was. Some of these people that are on the list have done absolutely nothing wrong.
Right. So we have a list. If you could put that up, man, behind the curtain. All these people were other people that were on the list. Being on the list was either you rode with him in a plane, or you were known to have been around him. So that's Gore, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett's not known to be around him. He just dropped the name, which I'm really glad because I like Kate Blanchett because
I like Chris Tucker and Bruce Willis, but they're on this too.
Yeah, well, she was in Lord of the Rings, so she's a good girl.
Yeah, well, Chris Tucker was in Friday. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Smokey, I know.
Yeah. We have David Copperfield, the claimed best magician in our century, one of the best magicians. We have George Lucas. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Is that why you don't like Star Wars?
No, I just don't care for Star Wars.
Okay, well, maybe this will give you a reason why you can't like. You could use this as a reason.
I don't need a reason. I just don't like it.
Well, you need to have a reason. Leonardo DiCaprio, which when Leo started his acting career, I didn't really care for him with the whole Gilbert Grape and back then. But the further on, he's one of the best actors there ever was. You ask me, I think his movies are great. We have Kevin Spacey, right?
Yeah.
Who's already been stuff with little boys, right?
I don't know, but he's
been known to.
He's a certified creep.
And then the Prince of Pop, Michael Jackson, which I wish I'd like Michael Jackson more because I like his music, but he's done. Because I like his music.
Why? What reason do you have?
Why do you like
Rush?
Yeah, silence. That's what I thought. And then Cameron Diaz too. So and this list had tons of names on it. Probably most of them were other lawyers and politicians and stuff that probably weren't as big, but these were like big names that people know of, see of, follow, hear, watch. They might be one of your favorite actor, comedian, whatever. So we just wanted to bring kind of this list to attention because the list is big right now. And these names are on it, and these popular names on it. The former presidents are on it. We will be doing another, right?
This story gets deeper and weirder than we've gone into so far, if you can.
Yeah, most definitely.
And we're going to go into this on another episode, next episode. It's bizarre. I hope that you all watch it with us.
Yeah, and that's past the list itself, so much the people, but more of what happened around it. So. We're going to end with our quote of the day. It's by Patricia Cornwell. She's an author, of over 100 million books. One of her quotes, she says, "I believe the root of all evil is the abuse of power." And that is kind of what we're dealing with here. Epstein
Good quote.
and Clinton and all these powerful people that have money and fame and what have you. That's a very good quote. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the list that just dropped. We're going to be dropping another episode next week about the things around the list and the things that have happened with this list and all the people in it.
If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot.
Thank you very much.